Gold Rush. Parker's Trail missing Karla Ann. Photographer Sam. Recently, TV show's Ace revealed that the next episode of Gold Rush, Parker's Trail, is filming in Australia. Parker and his team are there now, checking out some really cool mining sites and meeting with local experts. But his team is missing two key people, including fan favorite Karla Ann. What do we know? The Klondike gold mining season is over, and Gold Rush Season 10 began airing in October. But the gold mining season is still not over for Parker Schnabel. He is off on for the fourth season of Gold Rush, Parker's Trail. He has been posting a lot of photos from his adventure. TV show's Ace has reported that he has even been working with Aussie prospecting expert Tyler Mahoney. Fred Lewis is back working with Parker. Fred is a Special Forces medic and security expert. He replaced Rick Ness in Season 3, when Parker ventured to Papua New Guinea. But he is the only team member who is returning for Season 4. There have been many photos shared from the latest trail episodes in Australia. What is clear is that Karla Ann Charlton is not back. Karla Ann, who currently works on Rick Ness' crew in the Gold Room, was the wilderness expert the first 3 episodes. She is not back with Parker for Season 4. There is no explanation or statement. Gold Rush fans may have forgotten that Karla Ann originally worked for Parker Schnabel. When Rick Ness got his own team, she followed Ness, leaving Parker's crew. But she still traveled with Parker on the extra excursions. This year, she is not enjoying libations with Parker and Fred. Instead, according to her Instagram, she has been hanging around the beach with friends. Cameraman Sam Brown is another missing team member. Sam joined the team in Vienna, replacing James Lavelle. Parker was upset with Lavelle and totally stopped speaking to him when they returned from their Alaskan adventure. Sam also joined Parker in Papua New Guinea. But based on Instagram, Sam is now in China, not in Australia. He is on expedition with Dave Lucas. Instead, cameraman Dan Etheridge is traveling with Parker Schnabel. According to his Instagram, Dan works for Discovery Adventures, including wilderness expert Bear Grylls. Rick Ness was part of the first 2 Parker's Trail season, but he did not go to Papua New Guinea, nor is he in Australia. Good thing for him too, as he tends to freak out over spiders and creepy crawlies. The Australian bush has oodles of those. It appears that the long-time Gold Rush bromance between Parker and Rick is totally over. Parker and Rick met when Rick was a musician and Parker hired him. Rick worked for Parker 6 years, and now he is totally living a life separate from his former boss. That includes not participating in Gold Rush, Parker's Trail. Gold Rush fans, are you disappointed that Karla Ann and Sam will not be in the next season of Parker's Trail? Be sure to check back with TV show's Ace for the latest Gold Rush news. Gold Rush Season 10 airs on Friday nights on Discovery. Georgia Macchiatallo has several decades of writing experience, including travel writing, tech writing, art history analysis, and now entertainment writing. She loves to share the latest news on rom-coms and mysteries. Gold Rush, Parker's Trail, missing Karla Ann. Photographer Sam. The air was thick with anticipation as the crew prepared for another ambitious season of Gold Rush, Parker's Trail. The show, which chronicles the journey of young gold miner Parker Schnabel as he travels through remote, dangerous terrain in search of gold, has gained a devoted following. But this season was different. For the first time in years, 2 familiar faces were missing. Karla Ann, Parker's longtime friend and crew member, and Sam, the trusted photographer who had captured countless moments of Parker's mining adventures, had disappeared. What happened to Karla Ann and Sam? Their absence weighed heavily on the crew, and the fans could only wonder what led to their sudden disappearance in the midst of a season that was shaping up to be one of the most challenging yet. The Bactra Parker Schnabel had established himself as a gold mining prodigy from a young age. His operations in the Klondike, Australia, and other far-flung regions had been nothing short of groundbreaking. Each season, Parker set out on a new adventure, facing enormous odds and learning along the way. But he never did it alone. He had a loyal crew that included Karla Ann, his skilled mechanic and backup on the ground, and Sam, who captured every pivotal moment with his camera. Karla Ann had been a fixture on Parker's team for years. She wasn't just a mechanic. She was a close friend, someone who had become like family to Parker. Her technical expertise and unflappable attitude had made her indispensable on the trail. Whether it was fixing machinery, keeping the crew in high spirits, or offering sage advice, Karla Ann was always there. Then there was Sam, a photographer. Sam had become more than just a man behind the lens. His dedication to capturing the true spirit of Parker's journey was unmatched. Over the years, he had filmed some of the most harrowing and exhilarating moments in the show's history. His lens had caught Parker's triumphs, failures, and the gritty, unromantic side of mining life. Sam had grown close to the team, often lending a hand when necessary, but always staying behind the camera. This season, however, the atmosphere was different. Karla Ann and Sam were gone, and the crew was left to cope with their absence. The disappearance of Karla Ann and Sam began with a simple communication breakdown. One evening, the crew had gathered around the campfire, planning their next move. Parker, Karla Ann, Sam, and the rest of the team had just finished a particularly grueling day. They were deep in the wilderness, miles from civilization, preparing to venture even further into the mountains in search of gold. Sam had been particularly excited that day, having captured some beautiful footage of the surrounding landscape at sunrise. He'd even joked about needing a few more shots to add some flair to the documentary that would accompany the season. The group had shared a few laughs, and everything seemed like it was moving smoothly. The next morning, however, the situation took a turn. Karla Ann had been scheduled to lead a group to a nearby riverbank to check out some promising gold deposits. Sam, with his camera, was supposed to join her for some footage, but when the crew arrived at the designated meeting point, neither Karla Ann nor Sam was there. At first, Parker thought it was just a simple miscommunication. Perhaps Karla Ann had taken a different route, or maybe Sam had gotten caught up in his photography. But as hours stretched into a full day with no word from them, panic began to set in. The crew was miles from the nearest town, and the terrain was treacherous. The weather had turned cold, and the idea of searching for two missing members in such a hostile environment was daunting. Parker made the difficult decision to split the team into smaller search parties, scouring the area for any sign of their missing friends. For days, the crew searched relentlessly, but they found nothing. No sign of Karla Ann's vehicle, no evidence that Sam had been anywhere near the river. The landscape was unforgiving, and their search became more desperate with each passing hour. The crew was torn. Were they lost? Had something happened to them? The investigationist days stretched into weeks. A sense of unease settled over the team. Without Karla Ann and Sam, it felt like something vital was missing from the operation. Parker, usually the driving force behind the team, was visibly shaken. His usually confident demeanor was replaced by an air of uncertainty. Something wasn't right. The crew contacted local authorities and brought in a search and rescue team. Helicopters combed the mountains, and ground teams searched every inch of the forest, river, and surrounding wilderness. But the search yielded nothing. No footprints. No signs of a struggle. It was as if Karla Ann and Sam had vanished into thin air. With no other leads, the team began to speculate about the possibilities. Could it have been an accident? A sudden injury that left them stranded and unable to contact the rest of the crew? Or could it have been something more sinister? The idea that someone had targeted them began to weigh on the minds of the crew. Parker refused to give up hope. As the crew continued to search, Parker took it upon himself to delve deeper into their disappearance. His search led him to some local sources. The nearby town, a small and rugged place, had its own share of secrets. Rumors had been circulating about unusual activities in the area, strange movements, mysterious figures appearing in the wilderness, and odd stories from locals. Parker's instincts told him that something was off. He began interviewing the local people who had lived in the area for years. One local man, an old prospector, mentioned something that caught Parker's attention. "It's not the land that's dangerous up here. It's the people that come to it." The revelation as Parker continued his investigation, he began to uncover pieces of a larger puzzle. It wasn't just the wilderness that posed a threat to the crew. It was the dark underbelly of the gold rush industry. The area had seen a resurgence of illegal mining operations, with individuals and small groups trying to stake claims on land that Parker's team had worked on for years. These were not law-abiding miners. These were people who would do anything to protect their interests. Parker's search eventually led him to a remote cabin hidden in the woods, where he uncovered evidence that Sam had been following a lead. Sam had suspected that something shady was going on in the area, and he had been discreetly documenting it. Karla Ann, ever loyal to Parker, had J.